Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. It came out in here.
13th, had the baby about 7:30 in the morning, and on August 13th, somewhere around 10, 11 o'clock, she went to an apartment complex on the west side of Dothan and placed a live newborn in a trash compactor.
Hey y'all. So I know it's been a little second, but I'm back with a new story. If you guys have been following the news over the past, just even the past like year, couple of years, you saw that there was a lot of challenge. There were a lot of challenges being presented to Roe v. Wade, and then it was overturned in June of 2022. So a lot of people, a lot of doctors, activists, just women, women as well, not just women, but like in general, women predicted that there would be a rise in illegal abortions. There would be a rise in um, teen births. There would be a rise in infant mortality if Roe v. Wade was overturned because it led to um, Roe v. Wade ultimately led to medically I'll say medically safe abortions. And also, it increased women's role in the labor force. So, so the overturning of Roe v. Wade also has negative economic impacts. But I've noticed that just within the past few months, there's been a rise in teenage mothers who unalive their children, who unalive their newborns, and I mean immediately following birth. I don't. Although there's also cases of it happening later on down, like months down the line. Um, but I want to focus on this aspect of, because this is a negative externality. I want to focus on this aspect of I want to focus on this aspect of Roe v. Wade being overturned. So, so today I'm going to talk about three cases, although here you only see two. So there's Alexee out of New Mexico, and then there's Ashanti out of Alabama. And there's one more case out of Chicago, Illinois, although that mother has been left unnamed. And unlike these two, who are both teenagers, Ashanti being 18, Lexi being 19, the third case involves, I believe she's a 28-year-old woman, but I can confirm that once I look at the story again. So I have been following Lexi's story very close. Her name is actually Alexee Trevizo, I think. Okay, so her name is Alexee Trevizo, maybe. I have not paid much attention to her last name, and also I will just be referring to her as Lexi, as I believe her mother refers to her. So I first found out about this case from Law and Crime. Subscribe to Law and Crime Network. I'm just saying it's a really good place if you like to follow trials, if you like to follow just like what's going on in the law and criminal world. So a New Mexico teenager accused of murdering her. I don't know if I can say that. We're far. Okay. A New Mexico teenager accused of murdering her baby by stuffing him in a hospital trash can didn't know she was pregnant, according to her attorney. Not a single one of them told her that she was pregnant, Gary Mitchell told Law and Crime Network. Body camera video of the January 27th incident has gone viral, showing police and doctors speaking with 19-year-old Alexee Trevizo after the baby was found in a trash can. Nothing was crying. It came out with nothing. Trevizo can be heard saying in the recording. At the time, Trevizo was admitted to an Artesia, New Mexico hospital for back pain. She went to the hospital thinking she was suffering from low back pain and severe abdominal pain, Mitchell explained. She indicated on a scale of 1 to 10 that she was at a 10. After cleaning a bloody back... Okay, so gonna pause there. I'm not sure if it's going to say it in this article, but Lexi went to the hospital for... And I was just reading this to kind of jog my memory. Lexi went to the hospital for back pains. Whether it's known that she knew she was pregnant or not, I don't think it matters at this point. Although it is I don't think it matters at this point. And I do think that she was a little bit delusional. She thought that she was just gaining weight. She was taking diet pills that she was prescribed because she thought that she was just putting on weight. But I will say that she was aware that she was sexually active, and I'm not her defense, and nor am I the prosecutor, so it's not up to me, and none of those details are important at the moment to me. I think they're important to her prosecutor and to her defense attorney. But the hospital, because she was experiencing back pain, and the hospital performed a pregnancy test. Actually, that's how they knew that she was pregnant. They knew that she was pregnant. And after having those positive pregnancy test results, they still administered her. I believe it was morphine, maybe. I have to confirm that. But they administered her drugs for her back pain, and those drugs were found in the baby's system. So it's up to her defense to determine if it was morphine, whether the morphine unalived the child or whether the child was unalived from suffocating. But I will continue the article so there's a little more context. After cleaning a bloody bathroom, Trevizo had just used, a hospital staff member found the baby inside a trash bag. She put the baby in the trash can and put another clean liner over the top of it, a hospital staff member told police on the body camera recording. She killed the kid. The person that said that was, they said a hospital staff member. It was the charge nurse. He was, I thought that he was a bit nasty. Nasty in his attitude. If you watch the video, his main focus was, oh my God, like, you know what? Let me hush. I mean, his main focus was like, he immediately painted her as a murderer. He immediately painted Lexi as a murderer. He didn't know what happened in the bathroom. Yes, it was suspicious, but he initially jumped to, she killed the kid. That's all. That's what happened. No one knew what happened inside of the bathroom. No one still knows exactly what happened inside the bathroom, and it's going to play out in the following months. The newborn baby died, and Trevizo was charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence on May 10th. She was released on a $100,000 bond by May 16th, ahead of her high school graduation next week. They're not going to allow her to go to graduation because of the controversy in the community, and they just don't want to have any chaos. She's agreeable to that, Mitchell said of Trevizo's graduation. Law and Crime Network reached out to Artesia High School for a comment. Superintendent Thad Phillips replied via email, "I'm unable to make a comment on personal student matters. There is not an order or command from the school as far as we know. They just asked that she not be there so as not to generate any issues whatsoever, and so she agreed to that," Mitchell said. According to Mitchell, Trevizo went back to school after giving birth in January, but following her arrest, only returned to take a final exam. He said she has a 3.86 GPA and is already committed to attend New Mexico State University. She has absolutely no criminal record, not even a moving traffic stop. There's no juvenile record, no suspension from school, ever. No infraction at school, he said. She was a member of the cheer team since she was a freshman in high school, member of the choir, just an all-around top-notch student in person. When Trevizo was admitted to Artesia General Hospital on January 27th, Mitchell said she did not expect to give birth. She's shocked whenever she delivers a baby, Mitchell told Law and Crime Network. "I already have a real good idea of what caused the baby's death. It had nothing to do with my client. She was not at fault." Before she was admitted to the hospital, Trevizo spent 4 hours working out with her cheerleading team and was dehydrated. Mitchell said she didn't realize she was pregnant. There's no question that she thought she'd been protected. There's no question that she had used birth control, Mitchell said. Obviously, it didn't work. Nurses and doctors failed her. According to Mitchell, Trevizo was loaded with medication, including Zofran, sodium chloride, and morphine. Yeah, so I was right. It was morphine. After arriving to the hospital, they gave her major medication. Some of the medication is certainly dangerous to an unborn child or fetus, Mitchell said. That medication was started without finding out whether or not she was pregnant. Trevizo was not told she was pregnant before going to the bathroom, according to Mitchell. He said she gave birth alone without assistance. This is a situation in which the hospital failed her. The nurses and doctors failed her. The medical investigators failed her, he said. As Law and Crime Network previously reported, an autopsy conducted by the Office of the Medical Investigator showed the baby's death was not consistent with a stillbirth, finding he had air in his lungs. I'm obviously going to have another expert look at that. I don't know if that's true or not because I don't have much confidence in OMI, Mitchell said. Still, she tried to do the right thing. When asked why Trevizo put her baby in the trash bag, Mitchell said she believed the baby was dead. She still tried to do the right thing by her baby, and I'll tell you that much. And that baby wasn't put in the trash right away, he said. Mitchell told Law and Crime Network the hospital illegally released parts of Trevizo's medical records, which could be considered malpractice. I'm absolutely convinced that not only will we be able to show that she's totally innocent, but we'll be able to show that some people might call malpractice that took place, he said. Law and Crime Network reached out to Artesia General Hospital for a comment about the allegations, but they have not received a reply. Now, I believe there's all sorts of malpractice with Lexi's case, even down to the body cam footage and her medical information being publicly released. I think that hospital is up for a lawsuit. I, I don't know. I think Lexi might face criminal time, possibly. It depends on, honestly, it depends on what a jury thinks. That's why I don't want to dwell too much on it. I'm gonna let the judicial system and I'm gonna let the jury and the judicial system, I'm gonna let their roles play out. So our next case, and whether you believe Lexi knew she was pregnant or not, I don't. I believe that if she never wanted to be pregnant to begin with. She was on birth control. She took every step to prevent it. So she was failed. She's been failed by our government. Okay, I'm gonna go back and read this Daily Mail article on Lexi and see if it says any more information other than what I provided. A New Mexico teenager has admitted to giving birth to a baby boy and placing him in a trash can where he died, newly released police body cam footage shows. Alexee Trevizo, 19, is heard telling her mother, "It came out of me. I put it in the trash bag. I'm sorry, Mom." Trevizo attended the Artesia General Hospital on January 27th with back pain, but tests revealed she was pregnant and in labor. She then locked herself in a hospital bathroom for an extended period of time. After she returned, a cleaner found the bathroom covered in blood and then called nurses after lifting the heavy trash bag. In the body cam footage, a doctor wearing a white lab coat explains to Trevizo and her mother, "We discovered a dead baby in the bathroom." Trevizo tells the doctor, "I'm sorry, it came out of me and I didn't know what to do. I was just scared. It wasn't crying or anything." Trevizo's distraught mother holds her head in her hands and she pleads with her daughter, saying, "What did you do? What did you do to it?" The mother demands and holds her head in her hands in desperation before the doctor tells her to stop it right there. "The number one priority, guys," the doctor goes on, "is she just had a baby. I don't know whether she has delivered the placenta. She's bleeding significantly," she says. Before explaining that the teenager must be moved to the obstetrician. "I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby, it looked like you tried to hide it, and we do have to have the police involved. The baby's going to have to be taken for an autopsy, and there'll be an investigator and everything," the doctor continues in a calm voice. "I'm so sorry, but we need to do this correctly, and I want to be transparent with you about what our steps are going to be." "Nothing was crying. It came out with nothing," Trevizo repeats. A male medic in the room then asks the mother and doctor if they have any questions, to which Trevizo's mother asks how big the baby is. "It's full term," the masked medic responds. "What?" she exclaims, suggesting she did not know that her daughter was 9 months pregnant prior to the birth. "Lexi, have you watched the news about what the girls do to their babies and they go to jail?" the mother asks in frustration. A traumatized Trevizo bursts into tears and is then told that there are detectives on the way to talk to her and that she is now detained in the hospital under police custody. In a statement shared with Daily Mail, Artesia Police Department said, "Our officers and crime scene processor, along with the hospital staff, experienced a heartbreaking situation on that January morning and have been coping with what they encountered. One of the worst calls any first responder or public service person has to respond to is the severe injury or death of a child. We're expecting to be tough in those types of incidents because our job titles, but in all actuality, we are quite the opposite. Our routine calls of service and emergency responses are usually carried out easily with commitment and dedication for our city, but a call like this can be a breaking point for some or all of those involved. It's important that we provide the very best resources, counseling, and stress management tools to help our staff cope with this traumatic event so that they may continue their dedicated service." Adding, as far as Trevizo was concerned, she refused to speak to our investigators on the incident. At the beginning of the released body cam footage, a nurse told responding officers that Trevizo had a positive pregnancy test but denied having sex. Trevizo locked herself in the hospital bathroom on January 27th, gave birth to the baby boy before placing him in the trash can, investigators said. By the time the baby was found, the baby had died, investigators said. An autopsy listed the cause of death as homicide in March. On May 10th, police charged Trevizo with first-degree murder, or alternatively, intentional abuse of a child resulting in death, plus a count for tampering with evidence. Trevizo has since been released from jail and will be able to finish the school year without an ankle monitor or house arrest while she awaits to stand trial. Gary C. Mitchell, an attorney for Trevizo, previously told the Associated Press that his client has no criminal record and she should not be facing murder charges. As he said, "There are major discrepancies about what happened in the hospital, and this isn't a classic child abuse case." Our Hughes General Hospital representatives for Alexee Trevizo contacted for comment. This is the second high-profile case of a mother and newborn baby in Mexico in recent years. Jurors convicted Alexis Avila, 19, of throwing her newborn baby into an outdoor trash receptacle in January 2022 in Hobbs, Mexico. So the difference, and I do think the main difference between these two is that I believe Alexis Avila, this happened in January 2020. I think she actually had access to safer resources. So there was one more thing that I wanted to say about Lexi's case before I moved on. So the one last thing I had to say about Alexi's case is that I don't So the police department has argued that they didn't violate HIPAA, that the hospital didn't violate HIPAA because by Alexee being 18 and having her mother present in the hospital room, she waived those rights. I don't believe that's true. Also, I don't think that it's fair for them to she should be held, I mean, I think she should be held accountable for lying about not having sex, but I don't think it's fair to say, oh yeah, she didn't want to work with us, she lied to us. Well, I mean, she lied about having sex because she was asked in front of her mother. And I don't think that any 18-year-old would be, I don't think many 18-year-olds would be honest about that. And especially ones whose parents don't know that they're sexually active. But now our next case, I actually haven't read these articles, so I don't know how detailed they are. But our next case is about an 18-year-old Jakayla Williams out of Alabama. And her case is really heartbreaking. I had first heard about it from a YouTube channel called The Family. And actually so I first heard about it from this YouTube channel called The Family, and it really just stuck with me. Especially because I heard about it after I heard about Lexi's case. So, an 18-year-old Dothan? I think that's how you pronounce it. An 18-year-old Dothan mother has been charged with capital murder after police say she put her newborn baby in a dumpster with a trash compactor and lied about it. On Thursday, August 24th, Dothan police began an investigation after being contacted by medical staff at Southeast Health about a woman and her family attempting to find a baby she claimed she had left at the hospital on August 13th, 2023, with one of their hospital employees in the hospital lobby. According to Dothan police, the 18-year-old mother, Jakayla Ashanti Williams, told employees she had given birth to a boy at her home in the 1100 block of Tate Drive, but dropped the baby off at the hospital because she did not want him and said the baby cost too much money to care for. Williams' family did not know she was pregnant or had given birth until Wednesday, August 23rd, police say. Police say as the investigation continued, officers found out that Williams never took the newborn to Southeast Health, and when they presented this evidence to her during an interview, she admitted to investigators that she had taken the baby, wrapped in a blanket, drove to the west side of the city, and placed him alive in a dumpster outside of an apartment complex. Not because she is unassociated with the apartment. Police are unsure why Williams chose a specific spot, as they say she had no connection with the apartment complex. It's absolutely shocking. In 27 years of law enforcement, I've never heard of anything so horrific as this. It shocks the mind, it shocks the soul. She knew obviously that she could take a child newborn to the hospital and drop it off, and there is Alabama law where there are no questions asked, Dothan Police Chief William Benny said. During a press conference held Thursday, Chief Benny revealed his officers went to the apartment complex and found the dumpster with a trash compactor attached to it, and after sifting through the contents of Dothan City landfill, found the remains of the newborn wrapped in a mattress protector inside a zipped-up duffel bag. The newborn's remains were sent to the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences in Montgomery to confirm it was the missing baby. Williams has been charged with 1 count of capital murder. Williams is currently held in the Houston County Jail with no bond, but her attorneys Amy Cobb Smith and Clay Chadsworth want to hold a bond hearing as soon as possible for their client. A first appearance was held via Zoom early Friday morning, during which 7 of Williams' family members showed up in the courtroom to show support. It's going to take a team of effort to get a bond issued, Wadsworth told the family. Jakayla Williams, an 18-year-old from Dothan, Alabama, is currently being held without bail on 1 count of capital murder after cops found her son's lifeless body wrapped in a blanket stuffed inside a dumpster near an apartment complex. She admitted to Dothan Police Department detectives that she did not want to look after the child because the cost of childcare was too high. She reportedly gave birth to the baby at home in secret, but when her family found out she was pregnant, she lied and said she had given birth at the Southeast Medical Center. Wanting to recover the child, her family took Jakayla, a recent graduate of local Dothan High School, to the healthcare center, where the child claimed that she had given her baby to an employee. But the center's employees reviewed CCTV footage and found that Jakayla had not left her baby with them. So, I'm not going to read the rest because it's essentially what the local article said. But I said all that to say, I wanted to read the Daily Mail article because it did provide the context that her family was the one that contacted the hospital and police. Well, the hospital contacted police, but her family was involved in the process as they wanted to because they wanted the baby to be with the family. And they knew that something was wrong. Again, I am not condoning any of this behavior. I think I don't condone any of this behavior, but I think that I think that both of these cases were preventable. And I say that both of these cases are preventable because once I get to the third case, it it is a little more difficult to process because don't know what happened. I've looked for updates. There's no updates on what happened. As far as I know, the mother is not in prison. And I don't have a name for the mother either. And I also would have liked to protect the privacy of these two young ladies. But I also wanted you all to be able to go read for yourself and investigate and follow for yourself. So this last case, it's out of Chicago. So this is the one where I'm going to read the Chicago Tribune. And the article is titled, "Woman Suffered Emergency Medical Situation Before Babies Were Discovered in Streeterville Daycare Bathroom." A Chicago daycare employee at the Northwestern Memorial Hospital campus suffered an emergency medical situation Thursday evening, which led to the discovery of 2 infant girls in the daycare bathroom who were later pronounced dead at the Lurie Children's Hospital. An emergency medical situation involving a daycare employee occurred last night at the daycare facility on the Northwestern Memorial Hospital campus. Northwestern spokesman Christopher N. King said in an email, "No daycare children were involved or impacted by the situation." The Chicago Fire and Police Departments were called. "We're working with CPD regarding this incident and unable to comment further at this time." The employee, a teacher, abruptly left class and went to the bathroom, according to police report obtained by the Tribune. She was found by coworkers who called for an ambulance, and she was transferred to Northwestern Hospital for treatment, the police report said. A witness told police they found the bodies of infant girls inside the bathroom of a child care center in the 400 block of East Ontario Street just before 7 p.m., according to a CPD statement. They were taken to Lurie, where they were pronounced dead, police said. Authorities released no further details. Autopsies on the newborns were performed Friday, but their causes of death weren't conclusive and required further studies, according to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. This article is about the same case, but it's from the perspective of a Chicago lawmaker. I'm not sure whether she's a senator or a representative. I think it'll say so, though. She's a senator. As Chicago police investigate the deaths of twin newborn girls found in a garbage bag inside of a daycare center in Streeterville on Thursday, an Illinois state lawmaker wants to know if and how the state failed the mother. Police have said they're treating the case as a death investigation, not ready to talk about whether the girl's mother could face criminal charges, as many questions remain unanswered in the death of the 2 babies. One day after a cleaning crew found the girls in a daycare bathroom, the shock and disgust kept settling in. "My first reaction was profound sadness," Illinois State Senator Sarah Feigenholtz said on Friday. So far, the investigation has revealed the mother, who works at the Bernice Lavin Early Childhood Education Center, a daycare facility solely for the employees and staff at Northwestern Medicine, went into labor while at work. In a statement, center officials said the woman experienced a medical emergency that resulted in the anticipated delivery of newborn twin babies. The twin girls were taken to Lurie Children's Hospital, where they were pronounced dead. A cause of death had not been determined as of Friday afternoon, as more study and investigation is needed, according to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. Feigenholtz said has grief for the twin girls, but she pointed out there's empathy for the mother giving birth to 2 babies on the floor of a bathroom. Very similar to our other 2 cases. They both gave birth to babies on the floor of a bathroom. One in a hospital, one in a house, this one at a medical center, at a daycare. "We can do better. We have to," she said. "Something must have happened in this woman's life to lead her to do what she did." I could say the same for the other 2 girls as well. Feigenholtz questioned what more the state could have done to help the mother. Illinois has a safe haven law allowing parents to bring newborns they can't care for to staff police or fire stations, hospitals, or emergency care facilities as long as the baby is no older than a month. No questions asked. But Feigenholtz questioned whether the mother in this case knew she had options. She was unaware of social services and wraparound services that were provided for new families and new moms in the state of Illinois, where you can have a baby in a hospital and be covered by our state health insurance. What didn't she know? Where did we fail? Did she not know that she could place this child in a loving home, said Feigenholtz, who was adopted herself? This case is pushing her to work harder on getting the word out, as she hopes save the next unborn child, while giving that unexpected mother to be more options than just the safe haven law. Something was wrong with that sentence. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm not saying that I have the answer, but I'm thinking about what the answer is, she said. Police haven't said if the babies are full term when they were born, or if they're handling the case as a criminal investigation. Northwestern stressed that the woman who gave birth was not a Northwestern Medicine employee. She is employed by Bright Horizons Daycare, which is providing emotional and mental health support to their employees. Northwestern also has said no daycare children were involved or impacted by the situation. The Child Care Center said they're offering emotional and mental health support to all employees and their families. We ask for support and respect for everyone involved this time as we grieve together and work to support each other and ensuring any ensuing investigation, a spokesperson said in an email. So, what's very interesting about this case, I really love that Senator Feigenholtz addressed that there may have been failures at the state level. Also, so this is the thing that I want to talk about. So what all three of these states have in common is that they have laws and services where they will take in newborns, no questions asked, if the parent doesn't want them. And yet none of them worked. But none of those worked. That means that they need new policy. They need to look at the failure in the policy. Because I will say that, although I don't know if Lexi knew about, I don't know if Lexi knew that she could deliver her baby and leave it under New Mexico law. Ashanti did know that she could go to the hospital. So two people didn't know, one did. And yet none of them were able to follow through in like this quote unquote legal way of surrendering your child to the state. I believe it's a government issue. It's an issue of communication. It's an issue of bad policy. Actually, one, it's an issue of bad policy. That's number one. And then two, it's an issue of communication. I think that I'm sorry, but I don't think Roe v. Wade should have been overturned, and I think we wouldn't be here today. I think we're going to see a lot more cases like this, and they're going to be tried very differently. If these three women do end up being arrested, I actually see them being, pardoned, at least within the next 12 years. These just aren't your typical M1 cases. I don't think any of them had bad intent. I think they really just didn't know what to do. And that doesn't make anything they did right. It doesn't. But I'm not going to blame these young women. I mean, I'm going to hold them accountable, but this was all preventable through actual good policy. So comment below what you think. Do you think we're going to see more of these cases? I think we're going to have more, particularly from teenagers in rural places. Actually, I think there are more cases probably in rural areas, but we don't hear about them because they're not reported as much. It was really hard finding Ashantis. If you look up woman dumps newborn in trash, the only person that comes up is Lexi. But there's a lot more cases, and I'm going to do some more digging to find some more because this is an issue. See you guys next time. Bye.